Hello and welcome to True Audiophiles. Wanted to kind of talk to you guys about my trip to Chicago. I usually make a trip to Chicago maybe once a year. I'd like to make more, but my wallet probably can't afford it, but I would really love to go. Main reason for that is Chicago is definitely my favorite spot for records. There's also a few other things I like to do there as well. I have a good friend that lives out there that I like to, or a couple of good friends that live out there that I get to hang out with while I'm there on business. But then I also take an extra day just to kind of shop for vinyl with one of those friends and usually come up with some awesome finds. It's pretty rare that I come back with less than 20 records, and this is no exception to that. I think there were 24 actual records, or full, 12-inch records, and then there was like 4 or 5 7-inch singles that I had as well. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it, go over. I also got a grail of a CD, and you'll see why it's a grail when I get to it. I want to hold that off to hold that suspense in here. So, but anyway, I spent a good long period of time there, and I went. Three of my favorite stores are there. One of them is Reckless Records. I got a nice tote from them. I got some a t-shirt, a couple of t-shirts from them as well. And then my favorite store, especially for jazz, is Dusty Groove. I got one of these bags, which is a variation on some of the ones I've had in the past, but I like this. This side is new to their bags, but anyway, the color is new as well. So anyway, those were the bags, and again, I got a couple of shirts from them. But I also went to Oak Park Records as one of my other favorites, but went to all of those and kind of went to the half price books and Disc Replay and several other places and some other record stores that I don't even remember the names on a couple of them. So anyways, I want to kind of show you everything I got, and I'll try to go somewhat quickly just because there's so much to cover here. So I'm going to start off with the 7-inch singles, and a couple of these I got for a really good, actually all of these I got for a really good deal. So first up is Howard Jones, Things Can Only Get Better, with the picture. I always try to make sure and get the picture sleeves. It's pretty rare that I'll buy a 7-inch single that doesn't have a picture sleeve. Next up is the Bengals' Hazy Shade of Winter. I really loved this song when it came out on Less Than Zero soundtrack. The Less Than Zero soundtrack actually is very cool. It's got a Prince song on there as well that's not available anywhere but on that soundtrack, so that was kind of fun. Next one up is I got a Minor Threat 7-inch. It's the first demo tape put onto 7-inch single, so that one was a cool one. This is very cool. I've got a couple of 12 inches that kind of look like this, and this is from, I'm pretty sure it's UK, it's Europe. I'm not sure if it's exactly UK, but I'm pretty sure it's UK. And that's the Prince Controversy 7-inch single with When You Were Mine on the back. But nice thick stock sleeves, and again, it's a UK pressing. Next one up is a kind of a variation, not variation, but same genre, if you will. And it's Michael Jackson, and we've got, which one is this one? Oh, Rock With You. Love this song, Off the Wall. Again, another UK single. So the rest of these are going to be vinyl until the very end. I got a couple of CDs and actually a DVD audio for those of you who know what that is. But my biggest thing recently, I've been on a kick for Brother Jack McDuff, and also Alan Holdsworth were a couple of big ones. And then didn't have a lot of success with Alan Holdsworth, except for on one thing that I'll show you later. But I did get a couple of Jack McDuffs. I actually skipped on a couple because of the condition of them. This one I didn't skip on the condition just because it was kind of rough, but it's a mono, and it also was only $4.99. But it's Tobacco Road by Brother Jack McDuff. So got that. And this one I actually got on a trip to Buffalo a couple of months ago, but it was Cincinnati, not Buffalo, but it was in relatively rough shape. It was kind of noisy, and I found this one. It was a OJC, original jazz classic reissue, and it was in a much better shape. So I'm hoping this one's going to sound better from a quiet, a noise perspective. But it's Kirk's work which basically has Roland Kirk with brother Jack McDuff. This is a very early, before Roland took on Rashad as part of his name as well. That one was in really good shape. This one intrigued me. Another brother Jack McDuff, and he's just going by Jack McDuff here, but it's called Kisses. But the really interesting thing about this one is it's on Sugar Hill Records, you know, basically more known for old OG rap stuff. And, you know, brother Jack McDuff, for those of you who don't know, I actually got a classic vinyl reissue from Blue Note of Moon Rapping, which is one of his titles that was put out by Blue Note, and that really intrigued me to start collecting more and more of his stuff. And that one was and kind of his 70s work, and, you know, late 60s into the 70s were had a kind of a funky feel and vibe to them. So I guess I understand the transition, if you will, to Sugar Hill, but I'll be interested to hear what this sounds like. He gives a lot of thanks to George Benson, even though he's not on there. I think he may have written a song or two on here, but I'm looking forward to checking this out because it's a very interesting find. All right, next up, I have George Benson and Jack McDuff. So I know that they've done some work together, and this is an older, you know, probably, I think it's late 60s if I'm not mistaken. So back when George Benson was doing cool jazz instead of the kind of light jazz that he ended up doing later on. But I thought this was a really cool one to get. I'd love to check this one out. Another brother Jack McDuff one. A Change Is Gonna Come. So an Atlantic recording, and this is stereo too, so that's kind of cool. This one was good. I got a good. I know it's a reissue, but I don't have this album, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't. But I got a pretty good deal on it as well. It's Funkadelic, Free Your Mind. This one's a kind of a fun one. I have most of their stuff, and they're just really fun to listen to, especially if you like rap and human beatboxes. But you got Fat Boys Are Back. Pretty fun one there. Another, Rahsaan Roland Kirk and Al Hibbler, Meeting of the Times. So grabbed that copy. I might have this one already, but again, it was relatively inexpensive, and it was in really, really good shape, and I just wasn't 100% sure I had it. But it's Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. So I love that song, and I love Dolly Parton. And this one I've gotten, and I honestly have quite a few versions of this already, but every time I find one of these, this specific one, I have to grab it if it's not too stupid expensive and it's in good shape. But basically, it's Boston's first album, and this is a double Wally, which means basically Wally cut the best sounding version of this album. And if you can find one that's got Wally on both sides, it's a good one to grab. But every one everyone I have listened to, still one or two that I haven't listened to, but everyone I've listened to has got a lot of noise because it came out in that time when, you know, they used like recycled vinyl and just really didn't have good quality pressings in the US at that time. So hopefully this one sounds good. It looks very good, but hopefully it sounds good too. So the next two are interesting. I wasn't really looking for him, but ended up finding him in a couple of different places, and that's Sammy Hagar. So this is one of his earlier records. So a 9 on a 10 scale. I got that. And then, I don't remember if this one's before that, but it's basically a self-titled Sammy Hagar, which I might even have it, but you know, it wasn't outrageously expensive, and it was in good shape, and I figured I couldn't pass it up for the money just in case I didn't have it because I wasn't sure. So the next ones up are actually from, and I'm probably going to really screw up his name, but Serge Tankian, who is the lead singer of System of a Down. I've been collecting his solo stuff. I've got 2 or 3 of his other solo works as well, but I found these both in actually the same spot, so I'm guessing someone must have traded them in both from the same person probably. But this one is Elasticity by Serge, and then I also got Imperfect Harmonies as well from him. This is a music on vinyl, so usually those sound okay, or pretty good. I mean, the pressings are usually very good. It's, you know, the cuts are kind of sometimes can be questionable, but hopefully that'll sound pretty good. All right. Next up, I've got Jimmy Smith and Wes Montgomery. So this one's kind of an interesting, the dynamic duo that I found. This one is going to seem kind of odd in the midst of all the other stuff I've got, but when I was growing up as a little kid, I was a huge $6 Million Man fan, and you know, just I had the big the 12-inch action figure, the rocket, and all the, you know, different stuff to go along with it. But I've never gotten this before, and I'd never seen it before until I came across it in my crate digging, and that is a $6 Million Man record, which basically has two stories, one on each side, and then also has a comic that you can kind of read along with as well. So kind of a cool little combo. I think I had, you know, some Star Wars ones that were similar to this, and some other, I think Peter Pan and stuff, but they were usually 7-inch and they weren't 12-inch like this. So that one was pretty cool, and it wasn't outrageously expensive, and surprisingly in great condition. Like, it looks like it had never actually been played before, so, and maybe it wasn't. Next one is Roland Kirk with, you know, Rasan as in his name now with this particular one. And this is, it says, The Case of Three-Sided Dream in Audio Color. Very interesting, and be very curious to see what this one sounds like, because I've never heard of this title before. This one was kind of a toss-up. It was relatively inexpensive, but I really, really love Charles Mingus, or Charlie Mingus as he's known on this one, but this is Jazz Experiment, and these tend to be like from the Jazz Workshop, and they're kind of hit or miss sometimes, and hopefully the sound quality is decent on it. So, you know, it's not on a well-known label, but hopefully it sounds okay. But again, this one wasn't outrageously expensive, so, you know, I didn't really, you know, spend a ton if it didn't. So next was kind of a new old stock, which was pretty awesome, and or at least I'm pretty sure it was. It looks like it was, but you know, maybe it wasn't. It was definitely listed as, I believe, a new old stock. But anyways, it's an original jazz classic of Lee Morgan Quintet and Take 12. So pretty excited. I love Lee Morgan a lot, and try to find, anytime I can find stuff that I don't have of his, I try to scoop it up. Which probably aren't too many of them around there, because I've scooped up quite a few of his things, and try not to buy the compilations though. So speaking of compilations, I think this might be a compilation, although I'm not certain, but I don't remember ever seeing this one before, and I'll watch it and me go through my collection, and I actually have it. But it's John Coltrane, Setting the Pace. So this one's a Prestige, and I believe it had Rudy Van Gelder may have cut this one, if I remember correctly, looking on this, if I recall. So, and it's in nearly mint condition. It's really in great shape. So, and then last of the vinyl, but certainly not least of what I bought, was this one was kind of a fun one. It's David Lee Roth, California Girls. So this actually is a UK 12-inch, and it actually has a remix on it that I'm not 100% sure I've ever heard before. So excited to check that out and see what that's going to sound like. This was really a music related, but not really music or, you know, CDs or anything like that. But they are Viewmaster Viewer reels. And they are of Kiss back in the Dynasty era. So if you can see that, I'll put that right there so you can see. I wish I had a light to shine through it so you can kind of see them. I've taken a few shots of them through my camera lens. If I can, maybe I'll post a couple of them on this video so you can kind of see what they look like. But it's very cool. I actually don't own a Viewmaster Viewer, so I plan on getting one, because I'm sure I can find one for cheap that I plan on checking that one out with. All right, so now for the CDs, which you know, some of you may not necessarily hold in as much esteem, but if I can find stuff I'm looking for on CD, I will grab that also. I had mentioned earlier that I've been really looking for Allan Holdsworth stuff quite a bit the past probably 3 or 4 months, and have not had a lot of success, but I did have some success in finding the CD, Metal Fatigue. So I really like this album. I streamed it, and I've listened to it, and I really, really enjoy it. So I was really excited to grab a hold of that. Hope I can eventually find the vinyl, but so far I've not had luck with that. Next one up is one that I'm not really sure why I didn't buy it at the time, probably because I didn't know the music all that well back when this first came out, but it's a DVD audio of Brain Salad Surgery by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And for those of you who may or may not know, DVD audio basically came out around the same time that Super Audio CDs first came out. And what the appeal to these were is you could actually put them in a regular DVD player and get, you know, it was compressed audio, but surround sound just through a regular DVD player. But when you put them into a DVD audio player, you got high resolution surround sound, high resolution stereo, and there's sometimes some extras like this has stuff like a photo gallery and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So I haven't been able to check this one out yet on my player, but I look forward to checking that out, so that should be pretty fun. The last one, but most certainly not least, because it's definitely the most I spent on anything that I purchased while I was in Chicago. And it's something I've been kind of looking for a while, and I think I came across it probably 5 or 6 years ago, but I was more interested in the vinyl, and I did get the vinyl copy of this, so, and the vinyl copy is worth significantly more money, but this is still pretty valuable, and I'm very excited to grab it, and that was Nirvana's Nevermind, the MoFi release, or the reissue, if you will, on a gold CD. I love these cases, too. It lifts it up so you can grab it. It's cool, but, you know, gold CD, and, you know, this one, I actually got a really, really good deal on this, too, so I was very happy to be able to grab that also and be able to check that out, so very exciting. So that was basically the haul for, besides all the t-shirts and other things that I purchased besides this. So, but that's all the music that I purchased. So let me know your thoughts and what you think about the stuff that I grabbed, and would love to hear your feedback and input on that stuff. What are your favorite record stores in Chicago if you go to Chicago? Also, I'm going to be going to Philly soon, probably in the next couple of weeks or so. And if you know of some places in Philly I should go to, let me know. And if I find some great stuff like I did here in Chicago, I'll post that too. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So put your comments in the comments section. If you liked what you saw here, hit that like button. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see new subscribers, and hit that alert bell to let you know when my new videos come out. So thank you very much for watching, and I want you to have yourself a good rest of the day and a great rest of the week. Thanks a lot.